Hi all, thanks for joining us. So Noel, just one or two things here we wanted to pop on and discuss there today. So we're here now coming into the start of November. There's still a lot of stock available. Maybe one or two inquiries you've gotten in the last couple of days, Noel, I suppose, of guys that are maybe just the market that we're in, the climate we're in the dairy industry. There's guys looking to improve their herd, and I suppose maybe what opportunities are they seeing to do that, and what advice you're giving to farmers who have rang you with those kind of situations.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose there's two parts of it. There's people probably always trying to maybe to improve the herd, and the second part of it is that just the way the market for stock is at the moment in terms of the stock that we have available, there's value there. There's definite value there, especially compared to this time last year. When milk price was through the roof last year.
Yeah.
It has steadied. Probably the outlook for at this point in time in middle of October, the outlook for milk price is for 2024 is after steadying a bit again. It's looking a little bit more positive. And so it should bring confidence back to the industry. Again, that should help to bring confidence back to the industry. But again, in the context of herd improvement, just to give you an example, I was with a farm in Mid-Tipperary this week. He just rang up to say, look, he's milking about 110 cows, a black and white kind of Frisian background, just not happy with performance. He's going to his discussion group meetings, going to looking at and seeing in press or whatever what other herds are doing, and they're doing a lot more than him. Like litres is fine, about 6,000 litres, but fat percentage only about 4 and protein percentage only about 3.4. So we visited him, and you could see straight away, well-kept yard, grass management was very good as well. So, I suppose a lot of it came to the conclusion that the genetics just weren't doing it for him.
Yeah.
And so it's to have that discussion with them then, what's the opportunity for him to upgrade genetics. There was minimal genetic information on the animals that he had in the farm himself. So thankfully he's enrolled in the National Genotyping Programme.
Very good.
So he'll get that, he'll get his parentage, he'll be able to get genetic indexes as well. And hopefully then to be able to identify which cows to breed from next spring and which cows not to breed from. Maybe to put a beef bull to or whatever. And again, of course, knowing which cows to breed from, then the opportunity to use sex semen.
Yes.
Okay. So, all that information will be huge in his journey of genetic improvement and herd improvement. But again, I suppose the option is there then for farmers to fast track it. The option, number one, to identify the cows that are not producing in the herd. They're bringing the averages down. They're still consuming the same amount of feed as the cow that's in the top 10% in the herd. Is the opportunity there to remove her, to cull her? If she's gone really late calving as well, can we remove her from the system and replace her with something else?
Yeah.
And so, that farmer this week is totally open to that. The option now he's considering to buy maybe 15 calves that are born 2023 and 15 in-calf heifers, of ones that we can say, from herds that are doing 550 kilos of milk solids.
Yeah.
At 4.7 fat, 3.7, 3.8 protein, still within the black and white breed in the main. And equally, just to give an example for him now, like we have just happened to have a group of calves that's available. It's a group of 120 calves. You can pick any 30 from them. And so if you want to pick on EBI, the average, you can have an average of 260. That puts them in I don't think there's any group of calves out there at that high EBI.
Yeah.
On fertility, if fertility is a problem, you want to select on fertility, 113.
Yeah.
The fat PTA, if you want to select on that, if you specifically want to improve your fat percentages, 0.17, which will predict about 4.6 fat. And protein, then, if you want to select on that, 0.11 of a PTA, which is predicting about just under 3.8. So the last point we'll say on that group as an example, the milk subindex, if you want to pick on that, which is output in terms of kilos of milk solids, which is what you're getting paid for, it's 107. Plus 37 kilos of fat and protein. And I can say without fear of contradiction, that's by far the highest of any group of calves that are on the market at the moment.
Yeah.
So So, there's really good groups out there to be able to go in. And the other nice thing is that sellers now are giving choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, if there's 30 heifers to sell, well, then very often you have the choice to go in and maybe pick 15 or 20, which is picking the best of what they're offering again.
Yes.
So look, that opportunity is there. It's there probably at value now this year, probably more than ever before, especially compared to last year.
Yeah.
They're good, anywhere between €200 and €400 cheaper than they were last year.
Okay.
So that option is there for sure.
Very interesting. Right, I give you an example. So we'll say we look at co-op reports daily here. So we're talking within all the major co-ops, you're probably looking at averages somewhere around 410 kilos. The average kilos of milk solids is probably the average production. So unfortunately, there's farmers falling underneath that are really going to be challenged, I suppose, in the climate that we're in. And on milk prices you spoke about looks slightly more positive for next year, but they're going to be challenged. So if I'm worried, Noel, I suppose I'm buying in stock. There's risks associated with buying in stock. Would you touch there maybe on the calves aspect, I suppose, as we're coming in now where animals are going to be housed, that you buy in the calves, you're de-risking it slightly, but still you're putting yourself, 2 years ahead of any inseminations you're going to be doing in the spring. So maybe the calves is an interesting one there to start the process of the improvements, because as you mentioned, that farmer seems like he's on top of his game, we'll say, and all the other KPIs you'd look at within a farm. So the calves is something that customer's potentially looking at there, we'll say.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's two aspects. One is that you're buying the calves. You're buying them as calves. I suppose the first thing in terms of value, we would say, of all the stock group types out there, probably purchase of calves is probably the one that is most value in at the moment.
Yeah.
That's at the moment now in October, November 2023.
Yeah.
I suppose the second one thing is that those calves have time, they have plenty of time to become accustomed to new surroundings, new farm, new health status in terms of the herd that they're going into. I suppose it's never a deal breaker in terms of, in terms of vaccinations, in terms of sometimes sale groups of stock have no vaccinations.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're vaccinated for everything that they could be for that age. But it's never a deal breaker. The important thing is to know if they've got vaccinations, what have they got, when did they get it?
Yeah.
And then over time, then you can incorporate your own vaccination program into those animals.
Yeah.
The other thing then is buying them as calves or bulling heifers. Then you can decide what you're going to put them in calf to.
Yeah.
As opposed to buying them as in-calf heifers, fair enough, a lot of them might be in-calf to Angus. And you're trying to upgrade your herd, well, maybe you'd probably prefer them in calf to sex semen.
Yeah.
Again, it's never hugely a deal breaker, but again, I suppose the earlier you get them, the more choice, the more opportunity you have then to select what bulls you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, very good. No, very interesting. Sure, you can see on our website we've groups of calves there as well that are definitely going to improve any herd that they will go into. Thanks for that, Noel, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.